Hello, everyone. It's just going to take a moment to get started here. We've actually just had a delivery of groceries to the door, so my partner is working on that. If you hear a dog barking in the background, it's just our Messi. She is quite excited anytime anyone rings the doorbell here. All right, so today we are going to be, first off, let me just say this is Speak Your Own Book, the podcast. And today we are going to be discussing planning your book, the book outline. We'll take a deep dive into lesson 3. Which is the critical aspect of crafting your book, the outlining. Whether you're a seasoned author or you're taking your first steps into the world of writing, you'll find valuable insights here at this podcast, as well as our witchschool.com course and the textbook that is available at speakyourownbook.com. Just click on the bookstore and you will be able to find that in both print and digital format. So, today we're going to be exploring mind maps, book outlines, and more, all designed to help you create a solid blueprint for your literary masterpiece. But that's not all. I'll also be sharing some practical examples and pro tips that set you on a path to success. And of course, I'll fill you in on how to access that full course at witchschool.com, where you can further hone your writing skills. And if you're whether you're penning a novel, a memoir, a self-help guide, or any other literary creation, this episode is packed with gems to help you outline your way to greatness. So let's get started today. I'm going to share my screen with you. And we're going to be taking a look at lesson 3 here. Of course, just like last time at the end of the show, or towards the end of the show, we will do the meditation associated with today's lesson. And that will be the mind mapping meditation called Mapping Your Constellation. So by the end of today, you'll be able to understand how to brainstorm and create a mind map centered around your book topic. You'll be able to analyze that mind map to determine the most logical order of subtopics or chapters and sub-subtopics. Those are the sections within your chapters. You'll analyze each chapter topic and you'll create an outline by defining your reader will be able to, or your raw bats. You'll determine the additional information that you'll need, such as vocabulary, important pro tips that you want to share with your readers, and prerequisite skills. So prerequisite skills, just like if you have prerequisite course requirements, if you're going to college, these are skills that your reader will need to have in order to understand the new information that you're presenting them. So we really want to focus today on author's purpose. That's our primary keyword for or vocabulary term for this lesson. Now I'll just Google this really quickly so you can see here. We'll switch over to that. Some of you might remember from elementary school or primary school, the author's purpose is easy as pie. So here's some examples of that in chart form here. PIE stands for persuade, inform, and entertain. Most stories or most writing actually has a primary purpose as well as secondary purposes. So, of course, you may want to be informing your reader of something, but at the same time, you also want it to be entertaining. And you might have to persuade them into the importance of the information that you're presenting. So while your primary purpose might be informing them about tarot or informing them about candle magic, you definitely want to keep in mind those other secondary purposes that you will have as you go through. But defining your author's purpose or your book's purpose really helps you to set the stage for the type of book that you're creating. So we're going to skip down here to mind mapping. So mind mapping is a technique where we create kind of this constellation of bubbles of topics to generate the ideas that we have for our book. So I'm actually going to show you some examples of that with our own creations that we did for this book, I'm actually going to scroll down to the end of the chapter so you can see this clearly. However, it will be, I believe it may be sideways, yeah. So but you can kind of get an idea here. The central topic is in blue, and then out from there you launch into various bubbles of information on various paths or journeys that the topic might take. So, here is the example with Tarot Merlot. So, of course, obviously, we're going to be splitting that pretty quickly into the major arcana and the minor arcana. Those are obvious groupings. But we also might want to have something about the intro to tarot, or towards the end of the book, maybe tarot spreads, or towards the beginning, maybe rituals for consecrating your tarot book, or tools, or your deck that you use, your cloth that you use as well. Basically, anything that your reader might need in order to read the tarot cards, or might want in order to read the tarot cards. Then, of course, within those major and minor arcana subgroupings, you're going to have the suites under the minor arcana, and then of course the probably just the individual cards under the major arcana. You'll probably want to talk about the story and the meaning of those terms or those cards in the book. But think about this for your own topic. If it's candle magic, you might have different magic for different types of purposes. You might have candle correspondence colors, or maybe a specific set of oils that you can use for different ones. But start mind mapping out what your book should look like, what it should include. We've included a couple of tools here. We have a physical copy that you can print that's included in the book, or you can make a copy of. In the digital version, we also link to the one available on Google Drive. And there is also a QR code in the book, or perhaps the direct link that will take you to all of the online templates that we have stored. In addition, I also recommend mindmup.com as a great tool for this activity, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. You don't have to even sign up. You can just create a free map. Of course, if you want, you can obviously sign up as well. But I just want to show you a bit today about how that works. Let me jump over to that screen and I'll share that with you. So this is mindmup.com. And within it, we're going to create our, let's say in this case, we want to do something with numerology, right? So I will put numerology here. Don't worry too much about spelling. You'll notice I just tend to correct mine automatically, but it's not nearly as important as just getting the information onto something physical for you to see. So let's say your book is going to be on numerology, and then you want to have some subtopics to that. These will be the formation of your chapter. So you might have like an intro and history section, right? And you don't have to, write even incomplete sentences for this. With this, under the history, you might want to do another subgroup, and you might want to have, oh, that's the wrong one. Let me go to this one, and I will make what's called a child node to that. And I might want to talk about the Babylonian version of numerology, or I might want to talk about the Mayan version of numerology, but I would put some different subtopics under the intro and the history. And then you might also have a section for how modern numerology has been interpreted. In addition to the intro and history, you'll probably want to go through all the numbers 0 through 9, right? And then in addition to that, you may want to look at what we call master numbers, or those numbers that are doubled, like 11, 22, 33, so on. You might want to have a special section on prime numbers and maybe their significance within numerology. So you can add that as well. But this is a great tool for just kind of mapping out the different things that you would like to see in your book. You can also use this same tool for outlining a fictional book as well. This might be various scenes that you want to have in your book on each of the little subnodes. But your basic point right now is just to kind of throw everything on there and not really worry about the order it's going in, just whatever pops into your mind as you're brainstorming about your particular topic. So that's how to create a mind map. I'm going to share this tab now instead. We'll go back to the book itself. After you finish creating your mind map, you also want to then, and as well in the book, we give ideas for how to do this as well for autobiographies and biographies and memoirs. But we also talk about the overall theme of a book. So a theme is outside of literature, it's a flavor, so to speak, for a place or an object or an event. Let's say a theme park has a fantasy theme. And I give the example here of the Efteling in the Netherlands, which is a fairy tale theme park. So that's the most common time we hear about themes. Also, a child's birthday party or an adult birthday party can have a theme, such as pirates or unicorns. In fact, I would love an adult birthday party that was unicorn themed. Memoirs can also have a theme, but it doesn't mean like a steampunk backdrop. That's not really a theme. It's based on your universal message or your lesson or your idea that you want your life story or whatever type of book that you're writing to share. What's the message? There's this, and I include this example from Johnny Cash from the biographical drama of his life, Walk the Line. And there's a scene in there where a record producer, Sam Phillips, asked him what he can do, and Johnny plays this Christian hymn, but there's no feeling behind it. He's obviously not really interested in singing Christian music. So when the man calls him out on that, Johnny accuses him of saying that he's like an atheist at first, demanding that he be allowed to finish the song or bring the psalm home. And Sam has this great quote from the story. Bring it home. Okay, let's bring it home. If you was hit by a truck and you was lying out there in the gutter dying, and you had one time to sing one song that people would remember for your dirt, one song that would let God know how you felt about your time here on earth, one song that would sum you up. You telling me that's the song you'd sing? That same Jimmy Davis tune we hear on the radio all day about your peace within and how it's real and how you're going to shout it out? Or would you sing something different? Would you sing something real, something you felt? Because I'm telling you right now, that's the kind of song that truly saves people. It ain't got nothing to do with believing in God, Mr. Cash. It has to do with believing in yourself. And that same message can be applied to your book. It needs to be a message that you believe in, that you want to share with the world. So take some time to think about the theme of your book as you're making your mind map. So he then plays, I think it was Folsom Prison Blues. Okay. So let's move on. This is also an example that I gave with if I was to write a memoir. I actually gave my own example in the book of what I would include. In the memoirs brainstorming graphic organizer, I listed 3 things that I think are important for everyone to learn in life. One is Hakuna Matata. Try not to worry about things in life. Worry eats us alive. Worry is something we do far too much as modern humans. We also need to learn to be kinder and be more honest with each other. So those were the important things that if and when I ever write an autobiography or a memoir, I would definitely theme my book around those messages. Then we go into a discussion here of how do you know if you mapped a good mind map? Well, you can have other people look at it. I think that's the best way to do it. Have them take a look at the map and share it with friends and family. You can share it with those familiar with your topic, so you can get some wisdom and advice that they've shared. But also newbies to your topic, people who have no idea what you're talking about in your book, and ask them these 5 questions. What is confusing? What sounds difficult to master? What would be particularly helpful or interesting? What lessons or messages do they come away with after they look at your mind map? And what questions are they still left with? That will help you to figure out if there's more that you need to add to your mind map or special details that you need to include. So make sure to have other people look at your outline or your mind map and then your outline as well. We also give the suggestion of joining our Facebook group for Speak Your Own Book. You can find that online. Just search on Facebook for Speak Your Own Book. And you can have your link to your mind map or your full book outline. And you can get advice from other experienced writers. We do give a pro tip in this area to keep a special area of your mind map as just an open space with extra ideas that don't seem to fit yet in the book. You might find a spot for them later, or you might have to put them in a whole new book. This area is called the parking lot. We've also put a special section in the book outline graphic organizer that we include in this course. So let's talk about the book outline graphic organizer. We actually give a link in here to Readsy's novel outline for fictional books in the digital version. We provide a link, the full link address, or I think a tiny URL for the print version. And we use a template for this. So we've lightly modified one that was designed by Scribe Media for use with our books at Speak Your Own Book. I'm going to show that. Let's see here. With the Tarot Merlot book outline. We discussed this in our previous sessions on Speak Your Own Book with previous episodes in this season for Tarot Merlot. So you'll probably be familiar with it if you have listened to those. If not, I recommend going back and listening to those earlier podcasts from the season so that you'll have more of an idea. But just as a quick refresher, Tarot Merlot is our fictional book for our fictional writer, Merlot Mariana, who is a witch who loves both tarot and good wine. And so she connects the spirits to the spiritual in this book. So we start, of course, with the title. You can just use a working title. You don't have to have the exact one. If all you know is you're writing a numerology book, write numerology book at the top. You can focus on getting a good idea for your title later on. But you first want to start with your book positioning. You want to list out your objectives. What do the readers get out of reading your book? In this one, we said to learn to read tarot intuitively and to discover some great line pairings to go with cleansing, charging, and reading your cards. And then what you get out of it. That's very, very clear. It's a very good idea to have a clear goal for what you want from your book. In this case, Mariana Merlot wanted to sell 500 copies, and she wanted to get 50 leads out of that for private readings and coaching sessions. So you're probably looking at that and going, like, 500 copies? Well, that's not going to be a bestseller. Well, your book doesn't have to be a bestseller for you to make money. At selling 500 copies, that's going to, if you were to work with Speak Your Own Book and use our book total package deal, where we create an entire 250-page book for you for $5,000. And if you were to sell 500 copies, you would recoup the cost that you put into making the book originally. So that's why we give 500 copies as a minimal goal. Any more than that, and you're doing great. And also, if you're not using the full book package, or if you're doing this completely on your own, well, then you don't even have to. You can start making money from the first book you sell, not the 500th book you sell. In addition to that, from those sales, she does want the 50 leads out of it to go to her website and buy other services. In addition, out of the 50 leads, she wants at least half of them to leave positive reviews from satisfied readers, or receive 25 positive reviews from those who bought the 500 copies. Then we also include a dream goal here. What's the single event that would make you break out the champagne and celebrate? In this one, we said selling 1,000 copies. Doubling that goal would be great. You can define that however you want. It doesn't have to be a minimum number of copies. Yours may not be as focused on generating a profit or leading to new customers or new clients. You may have another established goal for that. We also help you with defining your primary audience. So this one in particular for Tarot Merlot would be anyone who is interested in reading tarot at a skilled level and anyone who likes wine. And then we have you describe your avatar reader, like the typical person that would be in your target audience. What's their life like? Who are they? What difficulty did they face when that your book can help them overcome. So our example with Tarot Merlot was a wine lover, perhaps a foodie witch, who wants to learn about tarot in a fun and intuitive way. They're struggling with finding modern approaches to the tarot interpretation, and they enjoy sophistication and elegance, as well as a good humor and a passion for life. After they read Tarot Merlot, they will invite their cultured and classy friends over for a wine tasting and a reading. So that would be our avatar reader in the case of Tarot Merlot. Think about what your avatar reader would look like. What are they going to do with the information you provide? What is their daily life like? What are their interests? And then we talk about your pain point, the pain that the person is experiencing because they haven't read your book. We call that a pain point in sales. So in this case, they may be irritated because the beginner's info they're finding doesn't teach them to intuitively read the tarot, and the books that go in depth are really boring or written in an old-fashioned way, and they're just not connecting with them as a modern reader. And then the transformation that this person will have in their life because they read that book. In the case of the Tarot Merlot version or example that we're giving, they know how to give an intuitive tarot reading and pair it with a perfect wine. So then we go into your idea. This is what your book is all about. In this case for Tarot Merlot, it's about wine and tarot. And it's sophisticated. It gives good wine recommendations. You learn intuitive reading of the tarot. And then we have the cocktail party pitch. This is one sentence. In business, we call it the elevator pitch. So if you're at a party and you want to talk to your friends about all the book that you've just created, one sentence that tells them everything they need to know. I wrote a book about, in this case, wine and tarot that teaches people about the best wine pairings and how to read tarot intuitively. One quick short sentence that tells them what they need to know. And then your book North Star. This is your guiding light that will help position your book on the path that it needs to go in order to deliver on all of these promises. So we use the formula, I will use my book to target primary audience by teaching them book idea, which will lead to my ultimate goal of more objectives. So in this case, I will use my book to target wine lovers who are interested in tarot by teaching them to read tarot intuitively while informing them about wine, which will lead to my ultimate goal of more tarot students who will want one-on-one sessions. So that was the North Star. So think about your book's North Star and just fill out that sentence frame with the information for your book. In addition, we have the chapter brainstorming, which in this case, we just copied and pasted an image of the original mind map. And we put that instruction here. You can just screenshot your mind map and post it here, or you can just write it out randomly. That's also fine. It's just whatever works for you, whatever you're most comfortable with. No one tool is right for everybody. So try out lots of different ones and see what works for you. And then, of course, we have this parking lot for additional ideas. The example we give with Tarot Merlot is to contact favorite wineries to become an affiliate for wine sales. Something that could lead to further income for Mariana Merlot later on. Then we get to the table of contents. This is where we're going to go back and take a look at that mind map, and I'll move it over to this tab instead. So after you finish your mind map and after you finish that first part of the book outline, you're going to then start deciding exactly what chapters need to go first and what comes after that and what comes after that. What's the most logical order for you to structure and organize your book? So that, you really have to go back to your original mind map and take a look at all of that information and see where it best fits. That's going to be very different for every single book. So you will see some patterns. Certain book types will have a similar framework. For example, in tarot books, I often see the introductory material, the consecration and cleansing material at the front of the book, and that's usually followed by the major arcana, and then each suit of the minor arcana. And then at the end of the book, there will be spreads and additional information that doesn't really have anywhere else, any place else in the book to fit. So that's going to be different for everybody. But you want to rank the steps of your book in order. Glance over your mind map and think about which of these circles should come first. And if you're not sure where a step goes exactly yet, put in place the subtopics you are sure about, and then you can decide where the other ones. Sometimes this requires a lot of free thinking to really fully plan out. So just put in what you can for now, and then slowly it will start taking shape as you realize, oh, this makes sense to put here, or that makes sense to put there. And in the next section, let's go over here again. And I'll share back to this tab. This is what this looks like in the case of Tarot Merlot. We put care and feeding of your tarot book at the top, then followed by the major arcana, the minor arcana, introduction, but then each suit also has its own chapter. We also included a set of reverse meanings as well, and how to interpret any card's reverse meaning. And then chapter 9 was tarot spreads. Chapter 10 is how to read the cards intuitively without looking up the meanings all the time in the book. And then tarot mythology and wine pairings in chapter 11, as well as chapter 12, final thoughts from the author. And the addendums would include tarot spread diagrams. Now, we won't get into the book chapters outlines, the individual outlines yet, because that's for next time with our conversation. Today, we're only going to be looking at how to outline the entire book, outlining individual chapters within that. It's the same process, but it's a lot more detailed. So that's it for that one. I'm going to stop sharing here. And next we're going to do our meditation. So let's put on some ambient music here. And I'll find the place in the book that I need for this, as that music is popping up. Let's see. It's having trouble playing the music. Let me just try it one more time here. And if not, we may have to just not use it at the moment. Perhaps you can put on your own music there at home for this one. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be wanting to play the music today. It just keeps spinning in a circle and not playing. And I don't think any of the others are really appropriate for a meditation. So put on your own meditation music right now. Maybe if you're listening to this on your phone, maybe you can play some ambient music from your computer. But we'll go ahead and start without it. Sit, stand, or lie down, whichever is most comfortable, and close your eyes. Breathe deeply, in and out, in and out, in and out. Continue breathing slowly in, slowly out as you meditate. Release all tension in your body. Picture yourself standing on top of a very high mountain in the middle of a starlit night. Thousands, millions, billions of tiny dots of light twinkle above your head. The mountain is so tall and the sky is so clear that you feel you could reach out and touch them, like snowflakes falling on a winter's eve. In the mass of stars, you see some are shining more brightly than others. They may be shining a specific color, perhaps a color that represents your book's topic. You feel as if you could somehow connect these dots shining so brightly billions of light years away, they would form an object, or perhaps a person, or a symbol, a new constellation in the night sky, something or someone or some idea that represents your book to you. You may already know what this object is, or you may let the universe determine what shape it will take. Reach out with your pointer finger, the one you draw power with, as if you were using your finger to draw a magical circle or some other magical or arcane symbol in the astral plane. Touch one of those dots that stands out brighter than the others. Now, just as if you were a child with the Connect the Dots puzzle page, connect your dots. Find each little point of light that belongs in your constellation and draw a line of power, first from one, then to another, in whatever order feels right. When you are finished drawing your constellation, take a step back and look at it. What does it look like? What shape does it form? What message does it represent? Watch your constellation glow, connected by beams of magical light in the darkness. Watch as the rest of the night sky, all of those other stars, fade in the inky blackness, allowing your stars to burn even more brightly in the void of the universe. Think upon this symbol, this constellation, this message from the universe, for as long as you wish. Try to memorize the shape in your mind, each point along the constellation, its direction and distance from the next, and so on. When you are ready, breathe deeply a few more times as you come back to your body, back into reality, still picturing your constellation in your mind. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Ground and release in whatever manner you wish. If you wish, record your constellation, your book's personal symbol of power, in your journal or your book of shadows. And that's it for our meditation. Additionally, some people do like to take their constellation and use it in their book cover somehow. So it could be a symbol that's on the page, it could be the entire page. But think about how you'd like to use your symbol in other areas. But creating a personal symbol for your book is a great way to tap into the spiritual process of creating a book. Remember, you're bringing something new into the universe, and sometimes guiding ourselves with these little points of meditation or little points of guidance and wisdom along the way can be quite helpful with that planning, especially for pagan writers. So that's it for today with Speak Your Own Book. Again, my name is Krys Copeland, and please join us next week when we talk about outlining a full chapter within your book. Have a wonderful day, and blessed be.